Om Sai Ram. Let us understand chapter number 44, Leaving of the Body by Sainath. Before that, let us do the Namasmaran, followed by chapter number 44, Leaving of the Body by Sainath, and then we will conclude chapter number 44 with the Aarti. श्री सच्चिदानंद सतगुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। ओम श्री साईनाथाय नमः। 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 Om Sai Ram. Chapter number 44, Leaving of the Body by Sainath. I bow down to Sri Ganesh. I bow down to Sri Saraswati. I bow down to the Guru. I bow down to the family deity. I bow down to Sri Sita Ramachandra. I bow down to Sri Satguru Sainath. Om. I bow down to Sri Sai, abundant supreme consciousness, above all happiness, store of all prosperity. It is your grace that all deprivation is removed. By merely touching your feet, all the sins are washed away. How much more blessed are those that worship you with all devotion. One glance at your smiling face was enough to forget all worldly sorrows and to immediately satisfy hunger and thirst. Such was the unique darshan. How can I describe the greatness of the one who always meditated upon Allah Malik, who always interested without pride, without greed, and without any desires? We cannot forget even for a moment how he would oblige even those who harm him and has such a peace of mind. Give him place in your heart. Rama and Krishna are lotus eyed. A saint may be one eyed or blind. Gods are handsome. Saints are always bliss incarnate. The gods look after them who call them, but there is no limit of grace for the saints. God say, thus far and no further. But saints are compassionate, even those who speak ill about them. There is no difference between Rama, Krishna, and Sai. They appear as three, but in essence they are only one. To say that the three face death is in itself totally incorrect. He who has power over death, how can he be troubled by it? We are unaware of the merits and the demerits of former existence which have occasioned in this present birth, nor am I aware of the good and the bad done during the present life. Sai Guru Raya is merciful. Knowing this, I plead for his mercy. There are many waves of desire which arise. Thereby, there is no peace of mind. Without the grace, mind will not be quite in quietude. In the beginning of the last chapter, I promised to narrate something which I could not keep. I could not fully narrate them. Listen to it completely from the beginning to the end. Knowing the end was near, Baba listened with full attention to the Ramayana for 14 days, day and night, read by a Brahmin. Thus, 2 weeks passed listening to the Ramayana. When Vijayadashmi arrived, Baba left the body. In the last chapter, it was narrated how Lakshman Mama did puja and how Jog did the arti after Baba's passing away. After that, the Hindus and the Muslims needed 36 hours to decide upon the last rites of the body. How the place for the samadhi, which was decided upon, how the brick had unexpectedly broken, and how his past Baba had raised this prana high up for 3 days. Everyone had doubts whether it was samadhi and the abandoning of the body. By observing the absence of breath, it seemed doubtful if he would become normal. When the 3 days had passed, thus it seemed certain that he had abandoned the body. Then naturally all raised the subject of the last rites. Then at that time Baba, who was fully conscious, internally returned to his normal self and warded off worries of all such people. Listen to many such stories with loving devotion. You will be delighted and choked with emotion. It is not a story but a treasury of the invaluable Sai gems. Open with love and experience the bliss of darshan. In the whole chapter, you will see Sainath densely filling it by listening to it, and you will be fulfilled. By recalling it, you will have a protector. This is the story of Sai, who was most generous. Get ready to listen to it with loving and undisturbed mind. Hearing such a pious story never fulfills the craving of devotees, but they are filled with spiritual bliss, and those they are troubled by worldly problems finding repose. Such is the story of Sai, that it gives happiness of a contented mind. Self bliss seems by standing before us. One experiences the purest joy of all joys. It appears fresh and new, no matter how often you hear it. Its characteristic is that it's enchanting. Therefore, listen to the story of the saint with a pure and concentrated mind. So be it. Later on, the discussion of the last rites of the body went on endlessly, and everyone was tired. Listen to the final outcome. It was finally decided to place Baba's body at the site designated for the statue of Lord Krishna, who was Murlidhar in the sanctum of the hall of Butiwada. Earlier, when the foundation was being dug, Baba was passing on his way to the Lendi. Baba had consented to Madhav Rao's request. Madhav Rao gave coconut in Baba's hand and requested, "Bless this place with your merciful glance, and I am digging the sanctum for Lord Murlidhar." Considering it to be an auspicious moment, Baba said, "Break the coconut. All of us, Bal Gopals, will spend time here. Here itself, we will talk about our problems on and off. We'll be in peace with children and family." At first, everyone thought that Baba had spoken something casually, but when later events took place, they realized that they had not properly understood those words. After Baba abandoned the body, this was deemed to be the best place for protecting Baba's precious body. The idea of establishing the statue of Lord Murlidhar was abandoned. Baba's last words, place this body in the Wada, ultimately became everyone's decision. Baba himself became the Murlidhar. Srimad Bhuti and all others, all Hindus and Muslims, became happy with the decision, and the Vada was put to good use. If Baba's body had been put elsewhere, the expensive Vada would have been an inanity and been desolate. It was because of Sai today there is puja and worship, listening to the holy scriptures and songs, distribution of food to the devotees, guests, and visitors. It is because of Sai the abundant food is distributed there. Various rituals are frequently held, come from far and near, and from different countries. So bear in mind the speech of saints, and every word is heard. Do not cast them aside, disbelieving them and considering them to be only casual. However stupid they may sound in the beginning or appear doubtful, as time passes by, the meaning becomes very clear, even if it were difficult to understand initially. When there is a still time for leaving the body, many inauspicious signs occur to indicate events in the masjid and in Shirdi earlier. Out of them, I will narrate one for the benefit of the listeners. Otherwise, if I narrate them all, the book will be lengthened. Since many years, Baba had an old brick on which he rested his hand and sat in the yogic posture. At night, in solitude, he regularly took support of the brick, and Baba sat in a yogic posture quietly in the masjid. This practice had gone on for quite a few years without disruption and without any problem. But fate is not governed by any rules, and unexpectedly it was broken. When Baba was not in the masjid, a young boy was sweeping with the intention of cleaning the dirt underneath the brick. He picked up the brick a little. The time had come for it to break. The brick slipped from the boy's hand. It fell down with a bang and broke into two pieces. Hearing of it, Baba said, "It is not a brick, but my fate has been broken into pieces." Saying this, he was very distressed, and tears of sorrow sprang from his eyes. When the brick broke, which, which Baba sat regularly in a yogic posture, Baba's heart was torn and he was choked with emotion. This brick, which was with him for several years, was of long standing and was the main support for his yogic posture. When it was suddenly broken, it seemed like to make the masjid desolate for him. Though it was a brick, Baba liked it very much and loved it like its own life. Seeing its condition, Baba was very distressed. Baba spent hours together resting his elbow on that very brick, sitting in the yogic posture. Therefore, he loved it very much. In whose company I meditated and was dearer to me than life. That companion of mine is broken. I also will not remain without it. The brick was the life of long companion and has left me and gone away today. Thus, remembering its qualities, Baba began bemoaning it. A natural doubt may arise here, as isn't a brick only a perishable object? Why grieve for it? What would people say? Anyone would entertain such a doubt at the very outset. Going to Sai's feet, I shall attempt to clear it. The avatar of saints is only for the upliftment of the world and the salvation of the poor and sinful. There is no other mission or goal. They laugh, cry, play like ordinary people, but it is a drama. This is the secret behavior of the great ones in the world. Akin is the behavior of the people. Those saints are fully enlightened, desireless, and without ambition. For the salvation of people of the world, they become ready to sanction it. They they cry, laugh, play like ordinary people. Those saints are fully enlightened and desireless without ambition. For the salvation of people, they come into the world and they become ready for action. Be it so. 32 years before he actually left his body, the samadhi would have taken place if it was not for the wisdom of Malsapati, which certainly and definitely prevented this inauspicious event. This is the truth. If this said the event had not been prevented, how would everyone have Sai's companionship? 43 years before writing about this event, it would have happened on Margadirsh Purnima day. 32 years before Samadhi, Baba had an attack of asthma and he became very uneasy. In order to bear the bodily pain, Baba raised his prana high and went into Samadhi. For 3 days from now, I will raise my prana high up and go into Samadhi. Do not wake me up, Baba told them. Seeing the corner of that courtyard, Baba said, pointing a finger, dig there for my Samadhi and place me there. Then, looking at Malsapati, he point blank said to him, do not neglect me for 3 days. Place two flags at the site of an indication. Saying this, he raised his prana up. Suddenly, he whirled around and became unconscious. Malsapati placed him on his lap. Others lost hope. It was about 10 o'clock at night when this happened. Oh, everyone became still, thinking about the sudden turn of events. There was neither breath nor pulse. It seemed as if there was no life in the body. The people were in a state of deep fright, but Sai was in absolute peace. Then Mahalsapati remained alert day and night and took care of Sai. He sat wide awake near him. Though Sai himself had ordered the samadhi to be dug, yet no one had the courage to do that. Seeing Baba in the state of samadhi, the whole villagers assembled there. There, the people watched with awe and was subdued. Bhagat Malsapati did not remove the body from the lap. The people would get shocked if they realized that the body was lifeless. Sai therefore seemed to be have deceived the people, saying that the body should be kept for 3 days. The breath had stopped, and all sense organs was at a standstill. There was no trace of movement. The luster of his face had dimmed. He had lost consciousness of the surroundings. He was totally silent. How could he come back to consciousness? This was a great worry for all. 2 days had passed, but he did not gain consciousness. Maulvis, Maulanas, and Fakirs came and gave the opinion for further action. Appa Kulkarni and Kashmir Ram also came. They took firm decision that Baba had achieved his abode of peace and the body should be given eternal rest. Some said, wait a little longer. Such haste is not good. Baba was not like ordinary people. Baba's words would come true. Others promptly replied, how will the life spirit return to a body which is ice cold? How foolish are all these! Dig a grave as the place shown by him. Call the people, perform the last rites on time, make all the preparations. Thus, while the discussions to do or not to do went on, the period of 3 days was over. Then, early morning at 3 o'clock, the live spirit and was observed as returning. Very slowly, his eyes opened, the body stirred, and the limbs stretched, and breath recommenced, and the abdomen was seemed to move. His face showed a cheerful expression. The eyes began to blink, the unconscious went, and a state of awakening rose. It seemed as if he had been reminded of the body he had forgotten. The lost treasure had been found again and was freely available. Sai, seeing Sai fully conscious, everyone rejoiced. By the grace of God, a great calamity had been averted. The devotees were wonderstruck. Bhagat Malsapati looked at Sai's face, marveling, and gently moved his neck. The Maulavis and Fakir lost face. In this manner, a terrible event had passed. If Bhagat had not obeyed Baba's instructions, considering the ill advice he got from the Maulavis, and had lost his determination even slightly, what a terrible situation it would have been. The tomb was being built 43 years before writing this. He who would have had the pleasing darshan of Sai, which brought such happiness. Sai arose again, leaving aside the samadhi state, only to oblige the people and to grant satisfaction to his devotees. He who had toiled and moiled for the purpose of devotees got immersed himself in high bliss. How could he have been awakened earlier? Inconceivable was his sport. All the devotees were happy on seeing Baba had regained consciousness. Everyone ran to take his life was a pleasure for all. So, to continue the earlier story of final samadhi, completed, complete details of which has been narrated earlier, it all happened as I remember. Therefore, all you listeners, ask yourselves for a moment, why should one be happy that Baba regained consciousness years back or sad that Baba gained Mahasamadhi? Both emotions are caused by lack of discrimination. Are you confident that our Sai is the gross skeletal body of 3.5 arm's length and the senses? Remove this doubt forever. If one is to call the body Sai, then there is no name for one who is free from all bodily and earthly enjoyments and pursuits. There is no form for it. Shri Sai is beyond form. The body is perishable. Brahman on its own is indestructible. If the body is included in the five elements, but Brahman is without beginning or end. Observe the pure, excellent self, the supreme being, the life spirit, which animates the gross senses. Sai is the name for that. He transcends the senses. The senses are gross and do not know that. It is that which animates the senses and activates them with the prana. The name of that power is Sai. There is no place without it. All the 10 directions are desolate without it. It fills the movable and the immovable. It had taken the avatar earlier. It was unmanifest, taking the name and the form and becoming an individuality. It became manifest. After accomplishing its mission, it merged into the unmanifest. After achieving the work of the avatar, the body taken for the avatar is abandoning and enters the abode of the knower and the known. Sai acted in this manner when he felt like going beyond the veil, like the Swami of Gangapur. Seeing Narsimha Saraswati, who said, I am going to the mountains, he suddenly left. When the devotees prevented him, he pacified them, saying, my departure is in accordance with a popular practice. I am not leaving Ganga Bhuvan. After bathing in the Krishna early morning and doing puja at Bindu Kshetra, worship the Padukas in the mud. I dwell there always. Similarly, is the story of Baba. The leaving of body was an outward act. Shri Sai is all pervading the whole creation and the hearts of all. Shri Sai transcends death. Never doubt on it. One can experience it in accordance to one's devotion. Sai fills the movable and the immovable. Sai is within us and outside us too. Sai is in your heart and my heart. He stays there permanently. Though Sai Samartha is compassionate to the humble, he is the protector of innocent devotees. He is hungry for true love and most loving towards all. Though we cannot see him with our naked eye, he is everywhere. Though he is hiding in a subtle form, he creeps us engrossed in him. His leaving the body is a sham. It is a trick to deceive us. He is an actor par excellence who seems to be non existent but is eternal. With the love and affection that we have for him, let us follow him and find him in the end. Let us fill our mission, worshipping him with heart and soul, remembering him with love and devotion. All devotees will experience his all pervasiveness. The eternal ones are not afraid of birth, existence, and death. They are eternal and enlightened. Emotions have no place there. Gold is gold before it is shaped into ornaments and remained gold even when it has made into various kinds of ornaments. The variety of ornaments can all be changed, subjected to modifications and destruction. When melted, they remain a formless gold, and only the shapes and the names disappear. Therefore, this Hemant Pant wishes to merge in his gold, which is Sai, and stay there till the time of end at the feet of Sai, who is the embodiment of all the qualities of this gold. Then the 13th day rites were performed by Bala Sahib, the gem amongst the devotees, with the help of Brahmins from the village. After bathing with the cloth on and doing puja in the wet clothes, Bala Sahib himself offered a palm full of sesame seeds, did other rituals with the sesame seeds, and also offered a ball of rice, etc. The offering of a ball of rice and other funeral rites were performed in accordance to the scriptures at specific times, including the monthly rituals for the whole year as per the code of Hindu law. Upasni, a great devotee, along with Jog, went to the holy banks of Bhagirathi and performed the rituals with fire, homa, havan, etc. They returned after feeding the Brahmins and the poor, giving dakshina as prescribed and performing all rites as per scriptures. Now it is different because of the absence of Baba and the discussion. Still, one sees the masjid and remembers the good old days. An extremely beautiful painting of Baba in his usual sitting posture was placed in the masjid with great love so that one could have the same pleasing experiences of how Baba would sit. Though Sai is no longer in the body, by having the darshan of the painting, it seems as if he was alive with his loving devotees. Sham Rao Jaikar had painted this beautiful portrait, which was very pleasing and constantly reminds us of Baba. Jaikar was a great devotee as he was an artist. He acted according to Baba's instructions with due thought of his behavior. He was commissioned to make beautiful paintings of Baba to put up in the homes of devotees in order to meditate upon them. Earlier, it had been explained several times, and you may recall it. The saints never die. It is not necessary to explain this again. Baba was not in body now, yet one who remembers him is helped by him even now, as it in the past, where when Baba was in the body. If one does not experience something according to what Baba may have said, it should not be believed that this has happened because Baba is no more. Baba's words are destined. One should have faith and experience this. If they do not come true immediately, they will not, they will do so in the time to come. Be it so. As I have mentioned, Jog, It reminds me of a story which is a digression. Hear this unparalleled story, and you will know of Sai's loving nature. Though the conversation between the two is concise, it is illuminating for the devotees of the Guru. Fortunate is the one who learns about the Vairagya detachment. Unfortunate is the one who is tied to mundane existence. Once Jog asked Baba, why am I in such a state even now? How strange is my fate? When will I achieve stability? Lord, I have been able to serve you single mindedly for many years, yet this fickle mind has not found peace. Why is it so? Am I so unfortunate? Is it that what I have gained in the company of a saint? When will I enjoy the benefits of the company of saints? Sai Samartha, hearing this entreaty of the devotee with great love, replied to Jog, hear what he said with a calm mind. Your bad actions will be destroyed. Your merits and demerits will be reduced to ashes. I will consider you fortunate where I see a bag of arms under your arm. When you will overcome all your impediments and be immersed yourself in meditation upon God, will when you will break all attachments, hopes, and desires completely, I will consider you fortunate. When you abandon all worldly pleasures, consider duality and as improper, control your palate and lust, and I will consider you fortunate. Be it so. After some considerable time, Baba's words came true. With the grace of the Satguru, Jog attained detachment, which Baba had predicted. Since he had no children, there was no question of attachment to them. His wife passed away. Before passing away himself, he took sannyas and easily became detached. So be it. This joke was for Sai's words came true. At the end, endowed with sannyas, he merged with the Brahman. All the all the that Sai had said happened in the end, and the result was that he had reached the exact state. Sai's words were substantiated. Truly, Job was fortunate. In short, Baba was compassionate to the afflicted and the poor, and concerned about the welfare of his devotees. He offered them the nectar of wisdom in plenty, in Shirdi all the time. Listen to it. Those who love me the most, they see me always before them. Without me, their universe is desolate. They have only my stories on their lips. They meditate upon me ceaselessly. They have my name on their tongue and chant it repeatedly. And they sing of my deeds wherever they come and go. When they also merged in me, forgot about all their actions and omissions, and where there is reverence for service to be rendered to me, I dwell there always. He who constantly remembers me after completely surrendering to me, I owe him a debt which I will repay by uplifting him. I am in bondage to him who does not eat or drink anything without offering it to me first, and who constantly meditates upon me. I act in accordance with his wishes. I constantly care for him who only longs for me, and for him no one is equal to me. I act in accordance to his wishes. He who has turned away from mother, father, kinsmen, friends, relatives, wife, and son alone is attached to my feet. During the rainy season, many rivers flood, meet the sea, and forget that they were rivers. They come and become one with the ocean. The form, as well as the name, had disappeared. The water had mixed with the sea. The river and the sea had enjoyed. Duality is lost in unity. On achieving such oneness, the mind forgets the name and the form. It will begin to see me with its natural disposition, because there is no other place for it but with me, to expose to the people that I am not Paris but just a stone. The pedagogues with which their empty sayings have brought pieces of iron. When the iron came into conflict with me and turned into gold, it was proved that my being just a stone was a lie. It was a novel experience. Discarding all pride, surrender to me who dwells in the heart. Ignorance will be destroyed immediately, and there will be no need to listen to any instructions about knowledge. Due to the ignorance, body consciousness is born, which leads to sickness and sorrow. It is this which leads to disregard of the code of conduct that becomes the obstacle for self-realization. You may ask, where am I now and how can I meet you now? But I am within your heart and we can meet without any effort. You may ask, who is the heart and how? What are his attributes and what is his identity by which he can be recognized? Then be completely attentive. Listen to the clear description to whom one should surrender and who is the dweller in the heart. The creation is filled in plenty with the objects of different names and forms which no one has been able to count. There are many forms of Maya in the same way. Indeed, that throbbing of reality which goes beyond the three aspects, which Sattva, Raja, and Tamas, is really the form of the one embedded in the heart. The state of being without names and forms, which remains as an essence of your own, is really the indication of that one embedded in the heart. Knowing this, seek refuge in Him. One has to appreciate that I alone am He and Thou, or extending this very idea of the identity in the world of beings. There appears the weighty existence of one's own self. There is no room for anything and anyone besides myself. With continuous practice, you will all experience my all pervasiveness. Then you will become one with me and experience that there is nothing beyond me. You will be one with the Supreme Spirit, and your heart will be pure. Without even having the waters of the Ganges, you will have had the Ganga bath. That is, you will be purified. The wise are ever wary of the bondage of pride of worldly achievements and do not let it affect them. One who meditates upon his real self, they unwaveringly and does not break his concentration for him. There is no necessity of both getting into samadhi or coming out of it. Therefore, laying my head at the feet of the listeners, I earnestly request them very lovingly to have love for all deities, saints, devotees, and others. Baba had repeatedly said, if anyone speaks insultingly to another, then he has hurt me and only pierced my heart. He hurts me immediately who speaks a volley of hard words to another, while I am immensely pleased for a long time if one bears an insult patiently. Sai is immanent in the whole creation, and he likes nothing else than love. This supreme nectar of teaching, which was most auspicious, flowed from Sai's mouth always. This was because of his great love for the devotees, and which fortunate ones are not aware of it. What must they have been experiencing after the sorrow had stung them, who had the privilege of eating, laughing, and enjoying with him? I had only the remains of this nectar from a wise one, but gathered every drop and distributed happily. Can all the stories narrated so far be attributed to him? Samartha Sai is their narrator, and the writer gets them written. I am not satisfied with narrating the story of Sai Samartha. I'm only engrossed in it, and the listeners too are happy listening to it. Besides, those who sing of Sai's glory or listen to it with true faith both become one with Sai. Know this for certainty. Now, Hemad concludes this chapter and offers it to Sai, holding Sai's feet with love. The next narration will be later. May there be well being. This is the end of the 44th chapter of SHRI Sai Satcharitra, written by the devotee Hemad Pant, impelled by saints and virtuous people, called Leaving of the Body by Sainath. This is offered to Sri Satguru Sainath. May there be auspiciousness. Om Sai Ram. Now let us do the Aarti. Shri Satchidananda सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। शिर्डी माझे पंढरपूर साई बाबा रामावर, बाबा रामावर, साई बाबा रामावर, शुद्ध भक्ती चंद्रभागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा, पुंडलिक जागा भाव पुंडलिक जागा, याव याव अवके जन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन, साई श्रीवंदन करा बाबा श्रीवंदन, तनुपने बाबा साई धाव पाव माझे आई, पाव माझे आई धाव पाव माझे आई, कनेलु धन बने चरण तुयाति पायन रूप तुझे, प्रेमीन रंगीन अनंत पूजिम भवेव मायन बनेन मा, त्वमेव माता पिता त्वमेव, त्वमेव बन्धु सदा त्वमेव, त्वमेव विद्या दैरङ्गमेव, त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव, अयनुमाचा प्रसन्निर्म त्यागनावा पतन स्वभाव, करोमि यद्यत् सकलं तरस्मै नारायणा इति समर्पयामि, अच्युतं केशवं राम नाम नारायणं कृष्ण दामोदरं वासुदेवं हरे, इदवं माधवं गोपिका विलवं जानकी नायकं रामचन्द्रं हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, श्री गुरुदेव दत्त सच्चिदानंद सद्गुरु साईनाथ महाराज की जय। Om Sai Ram. I urge all the listeners to read one chapter of the Sai Satcharitra every day and so in Baba Bliss. Baba bless you. Om Sai Ram.